Let's see if we get Carl mid-sip. Mid-sip? No, not
No,
mid-sip. No.
no.
Well,
Welcome.
cheers.
welcome, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, Mira Boucher.
Carl
Welcome.
Boucher.
Welcome. Mira made a mission to cut me mid sip at the beginning, and I had to really quickly spit it out. I love this is the Wine Olympics here at the Boucher office.
We have a few spectacular BC wines open. 3 reds actually in my glass right now.
Oh, maybe I forgot to
Exclusive.
pour any white. Did I forget to pour any white? Oh, darn it!
Oops. Oops. And guess what? Winemaker Richard Da Silva is joining us in about 15, 20 minutes, maybe sooner. So we are so excited to get going. We had the most epic 4-hour Zoom last Thursday with members. If you were on that call and you're here, leave us a note. Let us know. Say, I was there. It was epic. I mean, we haven't had one of those Zooms in a while. At least 6 weeks since we met with Keith Tires in December, right?
I know, right? I know. I mean, we all joke that the bar was set so high because Keith was incredibly generous, not only of his time, of his knowledge, but it was fun, it was entertaining, it was real, and but I had a feeling, and I'm like knowing Richard as like the way I know him, I was like, you know what? People might be surprised of the quality of that wine as well. So and yeah, boom. 4 hours later, people were dropping like flies. Like, okay, I gotta go. I gotta go. It's too late. Sorry, guys. I don't want to leave, but I have to. Hey, it was pretty darn amazing. And you know
So
what?
we made a rule, not that we like rules, but we're like, okay, next time, the first 45 minutes, we actually talk about the wines that we all have in our glass. Because that's the fun thing about Tasting Thursday, you guys. This new thing is that we had so much fun with the Advent calendar. So Jared and Lisa in Calgary, they're like, let's keep it going with Tasting Thursday. And so everyone gets to pick, 3 of the bottles, or the winemaker chooses 3. So at least we have some of the same wines around. You don't have to open them all at once, but some people do. And it's pretty fun to do that because then you get to know like what other people like and don't like. And you hear about those wines straight from the winemaker. So next time, what? We'll be disciplined. More about those specific wines in the first hour, and then it's a free for all. Then it's
This is your rules, you guys. You guys are all about rules.
and
I fucking hate rules.
We have to start a little bit earlier because I mean it was like midnight for the people out
I
east.
know. I
very much respect those that stayed that late.
I will take the blame for being very unstructured, and that's so funny because I spent half an hour with Richard before, and like we got all structure. I planned with him. Here we go. Here's how it's gonna happen. We need to stick with it, and everything went in the right field. It was fuck the structure. Let's have fun. It was incredible. Like I don't know, but we failed in a certain way. I take the blame, but on the other way, it was a boatload of fun. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Mira, for being so patient. Thanks for the goodness and the crew in Calgary and the crew in Ontario. Everyone who joined. I had a lot of text message on Friday morning, seeing what happened last night. Oh my God, my head hurt, my cheeks hurt because I laughed too much. My stomach maybe because I may have drank a little too much, but I didn't have to drive home. So yeah, the good old Zoom tasting are back once a month with Carl's Wine Club, and this one was a stunning success. We we have some raging fan of Syrah in that group. Okay, I was assaulted. Richard and I were bullied on that on
You were
that call.
assaulted on Zoom?
Yes, we were assaulted and we were bullied by the
Oh,
members. But you know what? We responded and we got 2 vintages of Syrah for all of you, bunch of bullies.
right. That was the mad rush to like try and grab the
Yeah,
Syrah through the computer, I guess. That's the
yeah,
new one.
exactly. Like grab it, grab one, grab two. No, we got 2021 Syrah, 2022 Syrah. I had tasted 2021 before, where I believe that I rated it 92 points or 92 plus, something like that. And now I have 2022 in my glass. I had no clue, but the nose of that wine is freaking stunning. Okay, absolutely amazing. So we're gonna talk about these two Syrahs, and I have the new 2022 Vino Tinto, a wine that Richard gave us $5 off a bottle. Remember a year ago we did a feature with Da Silva and Richard went banana and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna give you a club discount $5." And I know that Twyla just tuned in. I just saw her tuned in, and she probably doesn't know about that $5 off. Sorry, Twilight, I should have texted you. It was a side deal that we had. But that 2022 is also in my glass, and I will reward you guys. That wine is freaking insanely good for a entry level wine, if I may call it entry level. I mean, this is, we can call it party wine, we can call it cellar insurance, we can call it value, we can call it freaking mind boggling for the price. I don't know how you want to call it, but this 22, there's something about 2022 vintage. It's clean, it's crisp, it's pure, it's precise. The flavor are so clean, and I feel the same type of typicity in the Syrah and in the Tinto, where I think like things are very precise in terms of flavor. It's really really cool. While 21 is a little juicier, bolder, um, fluffier. Does it make sense? No, it doesn't, but it does in my like from um
Close enough. That's good.
close enough, close enough. Hey, you know what? We have an hour for to have your opinion, Mira Boucher. And I know that listener really wants to know how many glasses or a dance or a shape dance or a little something about these wines. I can't wait to hear your opinion because you became a Syrah fanatic over the years. And we know you have your favorites across the valley. You've not, and I remember I took you out for your birthday episode 17 last year's for your 40th, and we went back to Da Silva and we had a Syrah that night at the restaurant, and you loved that wine. I went back to my memory and I realized that was the 2021 that you had. So
What?
yeah. So you tasted it too, and now you have the 22 just side by side, and your favorite party wine with the Tinto. So can't
Yeah.
wait to
I
hear
mean,
about your opinion.
I literally took one sip when we opened it earlier, and I was like, this completely changed my mood in a really good way. I was like, wow.
Woohoo!
I mean, that's the
Woohoo!
power of an amazing wine, isn't it?
Is I thought you would say it's the power of Syrah, but yeah, it's the power of that. What a great
Not
wine!
just any Syrah. I mean, not just any
That's the
Syrah.
power
Let's
of
face it.
Syrah. No, and the 22 is so clean, I love it, love it, love it, love it, and I can't wait to go through the tasting notes and give it a score. Because before you have to start to stay on, because before the end of the show, I'll give that wine a score, so it'll be fun.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Mm,
So
mm.
I am just getting a few little pictures together because it's always more fun with pictures. Do we have, let me see, do we have Richard in the green room? I don't know. They made some changes to our thing here. Hopefully I'm not sure if we have a green room anymore. I don't see it. They may, anyway, we'll see Richard when he gets on. I think he'll be here in 5 or 10 minutes. Um,
I Yes.
an especially special week because we realized we were like half the people that were on that Zoom call with us last week, including Richard, are going to be in Burgundy with us in less than half a year.
Yeah. You got that right. You got that right, Mira. And that's funny because when we approached Richard and Twyla to come with us, there was a few like the top process was first and foremost they're awesome people. They are super fun, and we always like had a good time with them. So first, yeah, it would be great. They're going to be great travel partner. But second, they made they make outstanding Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And we're going to Chardonnay Pinot Noir country. So to have these guys with us, and we're like, hey, if they bring their wine as well, so we can taste the producers out there, and it will make it like they'll make so much fun. So yeah, it's happening. Richard and Tora are coming, and this week, like with that lineup that we just put together, there's also I realized that after the fact that there's the 23 Pinot and the 23 Chardonnay in that feature that you got through in on the email today. So that's pretty fun because that's the Burgundy wines right here at the forefront of that little feature where we have also some Syrahs and Big Bold Red on the back end. But it just showcased the diversity of the 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 skill, the mad skills of Richard. He can produce pretty much anything at a really high level. Um,
Absolutely. I wanted to share just a couple things here because if you're not familiar with Da Silva, I think most of you guys stopping by are, but if you're not, here, let's give you a quick primer. They were our winery of the year back in 2023, I think, and have really become such a member favorite. So not only do they have a phenomenal winery on the Naramata Bench in BC, but they also have a phenomenal restaurant. We think it's the best winery restaurant in BC by far.
You got that
Um,
right. You got that right. That's my
Phenomenal.
top pick. That's my definitely my top pick in the valley.
And if you ever go, one of the very few wineries that gives you varietal specific glassware, that's how much they care about how their wines are presented. After all that work, they're like they you do so much work in the cellar, so much work in the field, and you don't want it presented in like often what wineries do is just one glass and they just keep pouring you different things in it. And so, yeah, they do that. And we got to pick grapes and taste the grapes side by side, the wines with them. Like we've done such epic things with Da Silva. It's been so much fun. So yeah, I just wanted to flash
Yeah, that's
some
great memories, Mira. I love
inspiration on
watching
the
those
screen.
pictures.
See, they put
Absolutely.
us to work. This is part of what we traded for that Syrah access. Okay. 2 vintages of ultra rare Syrah. They accidentally gave us the wine club pricing too. Don't tell Twyla. She might still be on. Um, but so that's super limited time. I don't know how long that will last for. One of the Syrahs is almost sold out anyways, but yeah, so this is Da Silva if you aren't familiar. And this sparked quite a bit of controversy because people were like, what, is that a wine in a box? Yes, it is the best wine in box on the planet. It is snapped up like hotcakes every time they do a little release of this because it's so handy, and it is literally the same juice that goes in their bottles. So it is not like,
This is super premium wine in the
yeah.
box, and you don't have that enough. Like, not enough wineries have the brain power to
Yeah.
freaking do that because people's perception is wine in the box is crap wine, right? All leftover, and it's a it's a money grab. You can get good juice. No, what you get in these bottles, that's what goes in the box. So that's the special thing with Da Silva, and that's why when our members tasted that, it was maybe a year and a half ago the first time we did it.
Yeah, they got
The
sold
rose absolutely flew off the shelf in the sense that
out.
Richard was like, time out, we're running out. I need to rebagged that
Yeah, it was
like
epic.
bottle. Yeah,
And another thing
absolutely.
that came up that we've talked about before is, I mean, Carl, you went to pour Da Silva, Nobreza. You were asked to bring a couple spectacular examples of Canadian wine to a fundraiser in Las Vegas with the who's who of the wine world. You were pouring this wine next to Opus
Guess
One.
which wine was right next to one of our Canadian icon? We had Opus One, 2016 vintage, represented by the brand manager, the international brand manager, right next table to us. And we had, just like that, at the Cirque du Soleil, biggest fundraiser event of the year in Las Vegas at the MGM, and Nobreza, not the Brit, Nobreza 2019
Yeah,
Meritage from the Silva
yeah, baby.
absolutely turned head all night long. It was incredible. It was so amazing to see people's reaction when they tasted that wine. Yeah,
Very,
one of my very favorite event that I attended in the wine
yeah,
business throughout my
yeah,
career. Incredible.
incredible. Um, I wanted to. Oh, here. La, la. So this is the menu. At least it was last year. I think it changes a little bit year to year. Look at this stuff. It's all tapas style. Anytime we go to the Da Silva kitchen, their restaurant overlooking the vineyard there, we get the chef's choice, which means that they just keep bringing you tapas, and they're so freaking good. So, like,
Absolutely.
look at that duck leg confit with Amarena cherry gastric. I mean, their chef literally helped open the first Michelin star restaurant in Mexico and then came up to the Okanagan to do this. It is spectacular, spectacular. And they do paella too.
Spectacular. Absolutely. So we're gonna have some fun story to tell tonight because I think Richard just joined the green room. But hey, wherever you're tuning in tonight, wherever you are in Canada or wherever, if you're in the US or in Europe, wherever you are tuning in right now, let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know what's in your glass. Do you have a nice Canadian wine in your glass tonight? We have three. We have two vintages of Syrah, the 2021, the 2022, the Silva Syrah, and we have the Vino Tinto 2022 as well. The beautiful uh, blend from the Silva. I love it. Absolutely
Love it.
love it.
And what's great is we just opened these. I think we're some of the first in the country to definitely on the Syrah to taste the Syrah. The Vinho Tinto as well is pretty new. What do you have labeled here? What's a 21 on my glass?
The Syrah 21.
Oh, 21, 22 Syrah, and then the Tinto. I get it.
Exactly,
Very good. Very
exactly.
good.
So
Okay.
everything that was on your email today, I mean, and what we tasted last week during the Zoom tasting, these are extremely rare wines. And for the fun of it, like the 2023 Pinot Noir has not been released yet. This is a wine that Richard is saving for a little later. So we're the first one to have access to that. And because I liked the Chardonnay 2023 a lot last year on release, they had a few cases left. So I begged Twyla to get a few cases of the 23 Chardonnay so we can do that Burgundy duo. So we have 23 Pinot unreleased and the Chardonnay 23 released last year was now unfortunately going out of stock. So there's a few cases of each available. So that's a fun one. Really, really fun.
Very fun. All right. So let's bring Richard in because he's in the green room. We kept him for 4 hours the other night, so maybe we won't keep him that long this night.
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee anything.
But before he goes, I just want to make sure we remember. I want to ask him what he thinks about the fact that he and Twyla are coming with us to Burgundy in June. I know they did a wine trip to the Loire Valley, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yep.
But I don't think
Yeah.
he's ever been to Burgundy. So I want to hear his thoughts on that. And you know, we tasted his wine down right at the Romani Conti wall. I have some pictures, so we'll chat about that a little bit more too. Inspirational wine things. Life goals.
Daryl is fortifying his soul right now. I love
Yeah, I mean, when it's that cold.
I love
Yeah,
it, Daryl. I
careful,
love it. I know.
careful.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's a tough,
All
tough
right,
go where you at. Yeah.
let's bring in Richard Da
Let's bring the man, the myth,
Silva
the
from
legend, Richard Da
Vineyard.
Silva, my friend.
Hey,
How's it going, everyone?
cheers. It's going well. How are you?
Oh, just bottling today, so it's been a really busy and productive day today. So, pretty excited to get some new wines out there. So yeah, it's been a really, really busy day. I think I've been up since 4 in the morning, and probably still got another couple more hours to go today. But yeah, love to be here with you guys and see how things are going. And thank you for having me on.
Rich, we're not going to keep you on as long as the last time we were on with the. I know, right? I know. This time, this one has to be shorter. So I promise that by 6 o'clock, 6:05, maybe I'll let you go. But
Hey, maybe
hey,
even sooner. The poor guy. I haven't been up since 4.
so
Yeah, 3:30 actually.
holy smokes.
Oh my God.
That's a tough one. So, hey, just to inform our people here, people who are listening, what were you bottling today?
So we are bottling the new unreleased 2023 Bronco, actually.
Oh, the Bronco. So
Fantastic.
this one's brother, an hour young, a year younger.
And note the white.
Oh yeah. The cousin.
And it's in the packaging is pretty cool now. We went to a Flint, what they call a Flint bottle, which is clear, and it's the packaging looks amazing. The white and the clear. It's got this nice, super light green, almost looks like Semillon in the bottle. And the aromatics this year are fantastic. So I'm pretty excited about getting that on the market. It's definitely Twilight, one of our favorite wines that Twilight is enjoying at the moment. So.
Ooh, like
That's awesome. So 23 Broncos out now, and the blend of the new Bronco. You're still playing with Viognier. You have like, did you get a little bit of pin? Like, what do you have in there?
Pinot Gris, Viognier, and a little bit of Gewürztraminer. There's some orange muscat, a little bit of Chenin. But yeah, it's the deal. So we're also going to be bottling. Tomorrow we're bottling the new 22 Merlot. We're bottling the new Malbec 22.
Ooh.
And
still from Cabana Vineyard?
That's that's the last I think it's the last vintage from Cabana, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, no, I'm pretty excited about that. And then we have the new 22 Cab Sauv as well.
There you go.
So,
okay, so speaking about Cab Sauv, remember you said you couldn't remember, like you didn't taste it the 19. Did you had a chance to have a sip of your 19 Cab Sauv before you got sold out?
I know I had that bottle that I had here, so we did have a chance to go on it. It was fantastic, and it's such a such a great year. You just keep forgetting. It's like taking you back in time, and sure things are challenging vintage, like I said to you guys, but the wine was showing so well. I was actually kind of sad that I opened it. If it for longer, but oh well.
I know, right? But it's so good. It was my one of the night. But we had so many great feedback from the night we had last Thursday, Richard. Let's recap a little bit. But I mean, back from like all the way back from the COVID time, that was the common way for you guys to connect with wine lovers. Like, I mean, just to go on Zoom and try to do a few presentation here and there. But what we experienced last Thursday was a little different here. We had a bunch of very, very passionate wine people on. And what was your, when you hung up at the end of the night, how did you feel? I mean, it was a very special and unique night.
Exhausted? But no, I think it's, in all respect, I think sometimes we kind of, I almost sometimes think the wine in the glass is almost tertiary. Certainly it's, it's something that we enjoy. That's why we're here. And then, I mean, you have your members here. But wine is about an experience. And so to me, it's that evocation of an experience with what you're tasting. I would say some of the best wine experiences I've had in my past have been opening bottles of wine that were absolutely not so good. But it was, and so it tells you that, yeah, obviously you want something that tastes great, makes you think about it. But it's also, it needs to be paired with an experience. I think that's what that was about. Was it about an experience? I think it's always important because so many times you just end up talking about data. You end up talking about dirt or technical stuff, but most people don't drink wine like that. Wine is just part of a being around friends or gathering and telling stories, and whether they're tall tales or not, it's left to be judged. But I think the thing about that is it's important to, obviously there's a few of us and there's a few Carlo Wine Club members that I've had the pleasure to meet we go down the rabbit hole on all sorts of, wine nerdiness. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that's, I think it's just being able to relay a bit of who you are, what the wine represents, and the why. Why is it there? Why are you doing what you're doing? So
I think you just nailed it. You just brought something that I think I'm going to start right there. Okay, let's talk about who you are. Let's talk about your Portuguese origin and the 22, but the Tinto, the Vinho Tinto. It's what you often say. It's a flashcard of your origin. It's a Portuguese style red blend. And how about we talk about it a little bit, because this is the brand new release here, the 22. And how about we talk about the concept in general first, how you source your grape for that, and let's talk about the vintage after.
Well, I think we need to go back even further. What is it meant by a field blend when you're talking about that kind of stuff? So I think it's important to understand. I think if you look at wine and antiquity, I mean, certainly now with the benefit of data and all of this, evolution that wine's gone through in the last few hundred years, it's definitely morphed into something else. But if you look at the history of some of these places, like say take Portugal, one of the most ancient wine producing areas in the world outside of Mesopotamia. I will give that to Mesopotamia for sure. The Euphrates Valley. But it's a lot of that was by mistake. It was trial and error. It wasn't like there wasn't like some great thought. I always have a good laugh in these kind of wines about concrete, for example. I mean, my family used concrete not because it was cool and it imparted all this kind of sexy stuff to wine. It was pragmatically the only thing you could use. It was too expensive to get an oak barrel, and it was unheard of to use stainless steel. Concrete, you could just make it up in your backyard, literally, on a slab of rock, mix it, cover your rock wall in it, and it actually holds some liquid in it. I mean, literally that, and so yeah, with a hindsight of a few hundred years of that, or maybe longer, we come to these great things. Concrete's this magical unicorn, and so the Tinto is a bit of a reflection of that. Literally, as a farmer, you would plant. Your neighbors would come by. Hey, I got this cutting. It's kind of cool. I don't know, what do you think? And so you'd be going to different villages and doing whatever, and people, I got this kind of really cool grape. Give me a cutting of that. And so you start planting this stuff and see how it grows in your own backyard or in your hillside, because nobody was going to use their flat land that they're going to feed their family from to grow grapes on. They use the and literally the Vinho Tinto and these kind of field blends was just before varietals were a thing. They were just like, I'm just going to harvest this side of this hillside. close to harvest time. I'm going to throw it in my vat. I'm going to squish it, and I'm going to make some wine out of it. I don't know. It's white, red, pink grapes. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. They all taste good. Into a barrel. And it was funny, actually. But a good friend of mine was with Cork Supply, one of my cork suppliers that I use for all of our corks actually now. We're taking their team from Canada and California, North America, to Portugal. And a lot of the, really new world, really super zealous winemakers, oh my God, so what's the grape varietal? And there'd be this blank look from the winemakers, like, say what? Like, well, what's the variety? It's like, I don't know, it grows over there. It's like, I don't know. And people were like, in fact, actually, a couple people actually got pissed off. They were like, well, it's, like, you should know that stuff. It was like, dude, we've been making wine there for 500 years. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, I don't know. It just grows really well over there, and I make this wine. Does it taste good? Yeah, great. And some people were pretty bent out of shape on that. They wanted to dissect it down to a singular vector of some sort. But that's literally the thing. And it allowed the brilliance of doing field blends, allowed in the lack of technical knowledge or science, allowed to create a consistency vintage to vintage, because regardless of the vintage, there would be a group of varieties that would do really well, and there would be a group of varieties that maybe do not so well, but blended together, they made a good wine. And the next year might be completely different. But because they were from that field, they created this solid, consistent wine, table wine, that was always great with food. It was consistently, more importantly, and that's the simplicity of it. And so the Vinho Tinto is an homage to that field blend thing, that antiquity is how they made wine.
That's it. And this 2022, there's a blend of Merlot, Syrah, Franc, Cab Sauv, and Malbec. I mean, the 5 Bordeaux varietals, what you usually make in the single varietal. Now you got all of these 5 varietals blended together. And this is absolutely freaking magic. This is soft. There's good mid palate, like the good weight. The alcohol, I mean, like you're probably clicking at what? Yeah, 13.6, so just under 14. It's not heavy, but it's juicy. I love the acid. There's a good acidity, maybe a reflection of the 22 vintage here, but such a good, easy drinking wine. Now,
I'm gonna spill the beans on that. I'm pretty certain there's a few percent of fauche in there too.
There you go.
So we don't know, but that spine of the acidity in that wine, and this kind of almost like rusticness to the wine, I'm almost certain a bit of that is some kind of Marshall. And it's funny because I had a lady today, I won't say worked for a competitor, a big winery. She's like, man, she loves well-crafted. It's hard to find these days, like well-crafted fauche. It's kind of a bit of an ugly child. But I'm going to tell you something. If it's the case, and I don't know, there's some characters that are similar, some that are not. And I'm going to hold those cards close to me, what those characteristics are right now. But one of the things that in a blend that it does do is it adds freshness and acidity, which to me is really important in what the utility of this wine is. Food wine. It's an everyday wine to have with food. And so we have the fruit, we have the structure from those different varieties, and even some little magic, potentially a bit of fauche in there. All of that magic intermingled together in a bottle creates a fantastic wine that's exactly what it was meant to do. A great pasta wine, a great dinner wine, and so was the Tinto on purpose? No. So no, and so to be fair, we had no idea what it was, and to this day, we had the researchers here, the head scientists from the research station, the viticulture program here for the at the government research station here. They were very, very intrigued with this variety. It did show those kind of hybrid type characteristics, but even they couldn't identify it. So I'm thinking it's some kind of mutation of something, because literally the cuttings came from an old Englishman down the road here off of a fence line from an old Spanish guy who'd been growing it on his fence, property fence. So they had Pinot Gris and Pinot Noir. But what fascinating about this grape, and every year we were sourcing little bits from this guy, just down the road here from the winery. There used to be this massive plant that was never tended. It was never pruned. It was never sprayed. It never died. And the fruit was never diseased. I'm like, well, that's magic.
What the fuck is that?
That's magic sauce right there. Like, I mean, you're spending hours, countless hours, trying to make your Pinot Gris not rot on the vines. And here's this thing against the fence nobody gives a shit about, just doing its thing. And it's been there for decades. So I asked him, I said, so what do you think it is? So he named off a couple of different varieties. And over time, I'd say, yeah, it's not that, it's not this, it's not that. And I still don't know what that is. But we've come down, there's a couple of varieties that are in that kind of family of Fauche that we think it may be somewhere in that line. It has certainly certain characteristics. What it doesn't have that Fauche is known for is that gaminess.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that. So in any iteration of that wine, and I've made it by itself, and I made it, whatever. So anyway, it's here's a funny thing. We planted a chunk of that. We actually have about 2 acres down south planted of this grape variety in the coldest spot Oliver has. It is literally, if you're going to freeze a block of water, you're going to go on this piece of property in the wintertime. Every vineyard, it was like a blast zone.
But did we thought that was the Alicante Bouchette at some point? We had that conversation.
There is some. So there's 3 or 4 different varieties in there. There could very well be, and without me sitting in the wood for genetic testing, we don't know. I'm kind of actually like the fact that I don't know. I might just call it something and come up with my own proprietary name for it. But we do have, like, obviously we have a Touriga Nacional planted there. We have these different varieties planted there. There was a thought initially there was some Touriga Nacional, but it's not. But anyway, it's a fascinating wine that goes to show you that these surprises, back again to the origin of this wine, as I was telling you before. I don't know what it is, but it makes good wine. So what do I care? At the end of the day, do I need to be put into a box that says this is the variety on the thing? No, does it taste good? Do you like the wine?
I sure do. I sure fucking do. I'll tell you one thing. This is awesome. I mean, I've tasted 4 vintages of Tinto since I know you. That might be the most complete wine of them all. And
in terms consistent.
In terms of structure, texture, weight, out, like the whole spectrum, there's an incredible balance. It's not too big, but there's some body into it. There's a really good body. I love the backbone of that wine. There's a structure, there's a tannin, and there's layers. I don't know, and I'm not gonna bug you about the proportion of like what, but what is the?
Don't ask me because I have no clue.
Yeah, exactly, right. And is Merlot the backbone of it, or there's
no?
No,
it really depends vintage to vintage. But again, I think when you're doing these field blends, that becomes less important because they're not. No one component is major in it to some degree.
Yeah.
They're all, 20, 30% pieces of the pie at most. lots of 5% pieces in there and stuff like that. So I have purposely made it a point to not pay attention to where the wine, like when this wine's happening, I don't ask for that breakdown from my staff. So when we're putting a tank, I just, and this is a unique thing about this wine that doesn't happen very often. Those that may make wine or from the wine industry that are watching this tonight, or maybe watch this in the future. I start the fermentation. The first batch of wine comes in, and all we do as the grapes keep coming in, we just keep adding it to that same tank. The original batch may have started fermenting a month and a half before, the original batch in that tank. We don't ferment them separately and then blend them afterwards. We have one tank, and it starts at the bottom, and we just keep topping it up with grapes. We just crush it straight into there. And it's fascinating. And we try to do it with the white. The Vino Blanco is similar, but we do have to add a step in there. We cold set it off from gross lees. Yeah. Then we stick it into the same seed tank. So it's some winemaker friends have been like, "Well, that's kind of cool." I mean, that's and I think some probably do it more than they say they do, because it's such a convenient way. It's about, think about 50 years ago. If you didn't have monitoring systems, you didn't have all this kind of stuff. I mean, you're trying to just keep the stuff from turning into vinegar. You know what I mean? And so yeah. I love being able to just turn my brain off and just go rely right off my palate. Go, yeah, that's tasting great. So that's what we do.
Okay, so and there's a little twist on that. So okay, so you have all of your barrels from that very same year, and at some point you start tasting your barrel. You do your barrel selection for Nobreza, for Legado, and this and that. You split, you taste everything blind, and once in a while you say, nope, not that. Go put that in the Tinto tank. Is it?
Yes. So that is fast. So up to 10% of that wine, any vintage. I think at one point there was a couple of vintages that probably climbed up to almost 20% of the full Tinto blend were wines that did not make the cut for my Legado series wines, which is
your accountant didn't like that. I'm pretty sure.
Regardless, I didn't like that. So it's kind of like, but I mean, it's something that I did it. I just did that 2 weeks ago in my cellar, and my staff were just horrified because we had a tank with you've actually tasted it before, the Nobreza, and at the end of the day, it just wasn't my standard. And I just said, rack it into Tinto, and everybody was just like looking at me like I just dropped a bomb in the room. They're like, "What?" I'm like, "There, don't ask me." I just walked away.
It's not that bad.
No, but again, you're creating a high bar for yourself, and so yeah, I mean,
yes, absolutely.
If you're gonna make that statement, you gotta stick to your guns.
You should do, and I don't want to spend the night on that, but this 2022 has, yeah, like I said, that there's enough depth and power, but there's a freshness. I want to talk 2022 in particular, the vintage 2022, because we have 2021 Syrah and 2022 Syrah both side by side here, and that's going to be the segment. But 2021 was an incredibly challenging year with the heat dome that we had here. We had high weather, like high heat at a very early stage of the summer, which was, you guys never seen that before as farmer almost. It was really unconventional. And 2020, so it makes wine growing very challenging in 2021, correct?
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, it was a fairly cool spring. If I look back at it.
Yeah.
But it certainly, though, in 2022, it became really, really hot. Became super, super hot in September and October.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with, and I remember hearing, some counterparts. Um, it was, the vintage of the century. But the vintage did end pretty quickly though. So I think a lot of people who are like kind of like pontificating about it. I really don't like making that call until the wine is in my barrel. That's
Mm-hmm.
how the vintage is like. But certainly the summer was quite hot. But the spring was cooler.
The cool spring started late.
And so what happens, you had this kind of weird kind of explosion. And so the wines, it depended on site, but sometimes the wines tend to be on some places really powerful, but don't have a lot of depth. And I think that's due to that kind of truncated season a little bit in some of those vintages and sites that were maybe you were on a site that was already too hot for that varietal.
Okay.
It's like those that grow grapes and make wine at the same time know that all we want is a nice long season. It gives you complexity, gives you. But what I think 22's finger mark on wines is a kind of a memorable intensity. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's kind of a hallmark that's probably sticks out over the 21 and 23 vintage.
Yeah.
Is this peak of like in your face. So again, back to when we started this conversation tonight, it's about experiences. Wine is telling you a story about the place. That's not wrong. That's, if the wine shows that kind of persistence, the kind of like this kind of, that's great. That's part of the story. That's what wine is telling you when you're doing small batch wines.
Okay, so let's talk about the site, okay? Because I'm gonna come back 2022. I'll give you a score after. I love we talk about power. We talk about what I'm coming with. It's precision of varietal. This wine, that Syrah 22, has such a Syrah profile. I mean, there's a precision of the varietal typicity in that wine. That's what really, really, really sticks out to me. And there's a freshness. There is a really beautiful, beautiful precision. Now, what I want you to tell our people who are listening right now, it's the source of the grape. What we have here, it's a wine from the Golden Mile. So it's from a vineyard that, I mean, is it a farm from someone from your family? This is the Sunrise Vineyard. Is it a grower that you know from long time ago? Can you tell us a little bit the story about the dirt?
Yeah, so the Sunrise Vineyard, I named the vineyard. It's kind of funny, some of these vineyard owners will come in and they'll take over these properties. They don't understand the story. And so I said, well, I know the name for the place already. And what do you mean? I said, well, Sunrise. And it's a nod to a gentleman by the name of Arthur Toyer, prolific grower, nursery, agriculturalist in the Okanagan in the late 60s and 1970s, and kind of into the mid 80s. My dad was his field foreman, and he had a business called Sunrise Orchards. There is some written about him if you do some Googling on Arthur Toyer. Lots. Actually, I was born and raised on the Oliver Nursery site in Oliver, on one of the farmhouses that my parents were farmhands in the farmhouse. And so the fast forward to this particular site, my parents' site is like about 500 yards across the east of this property. And he owned this site. One of his many farms, like the C.C. Yench vineyard on Road 13 was one of his places, and a bunch of other places. But anyway, this vineyard is by the original, what we call Toucage Vineyard. It's what people know as Rust Vineyard in Oliver, Rustico.
Yep, Rust.
Wine company now. It's gone through a bunch of different names, and
Well,
But
I mean, Richard, Ross are making some of the most awarded Syrahs from the Okanagan. I mean, then they do four different sites as well. They do one from the Similkameen, one from the Golden Mile, one from the Black Sage Bench. They have site specific that we really focus on Syrahs.
yeah, so to this site, this is, Arthur Toyer at the time lived at this property, and so I named it as an homage to Sunrise Vineyard because the site beautifully faces east, great slope on this alluvial fan shape off of the Testalinda Creek, and extremely rocky. Lots and lots of river stones and rock and gravels, big gravel. And yeah, so to me, it was a magical site, the Sunrise Vineyard. And so I was very, very happy to have actually been able to label it as such. So I grew up on that place. And worked there alongside my dad when I was young. And so yeah, the vineyard site, well, it was an orchard at the time, held a lot of meaning to me. So this wine kind of is special because when I was able to collaborate with the grower on this site, I was extremely excited because of that heritage. And they'd been selling it already for a few years to some other wineries, and nobody had kind of named it anything. And I said, "No, well, we got to name it something." And I told them what the history was of the site. They didn't even know about that. They're like, "Holy cow!" And so yeah, there is the Sunrise Vineyard. And unfortunately today, what you guys see here right now, I think the 22 is the last vintage, is the end of it. They at the winter kill, they pulled that whole vineyard out. I begged and pleaded to get them to replant Syrah in there because it's an absolute magical site for Syrah, and they decided to plant Cab Franc, which I think is absolutely not the right variety for the site. And so there we have it, the end of that era. So
Fuck! You're kidding me. So okay, it's the first time that I taste that vintage of that wine, Richard. Okay, and I was just about to say, Richard, this is the best wine I've tasted this year. Okay, it's only early January, but I still have tasted at least 50 to 60 wines since the beginning of the year. This is the best wine that I've tasted this year. And that includes your 19 Cab Sauv that I give 94 points. This wine is freaking amazing. This is, when I talk about varietal typicity, this is so Syrah that
yeah,
and there's the spice, there's the blueberry jam, there's meatiness in the, and there's a hint of floral note as well. And you're telling me that this is it. This is it.
yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie, it pisses me off. Really, like I said, the last time we were on air about this, to me, it's a travesty. A site that was just building this legend goes to show that sometimes people who don't have wine background don't understand that building a legend is a long arc of time. And to see that being thrown away as we were starting to create, because I've been doing Syrah from this site now for a while. It's been hidden around small batches here and there, wine club at the winery only. It was a wine club exclusive at our winery, as well as these two wines were as well. But yeah, I'm not gonna mince words. I'm still very, very pissed about the situation. And but with that comes a new focus that I luckily our farming background and my farming background, I can quickly pivot. And to the degree where I did that with Chenin Blanc from the Golden Mile, the Checkmate Vineyard, and doing it here, you know what? There's always room for doing even better in the future. So I have a small, probably about a 2-acre piece of dirt available up on the bench. And one of the things that maybe your guests don't know is that one of the The only wines in Canada that Janice Robinson ever gave any kudos to was the Nickel
Syrah from the Naramata bench.
From the Naramata bench. Of all the wines she tried from BC, and there's some good vintages back then. This is going back some time, but there's already some stars starting to show up at that time. I remember some of those wines.
Early 90s, you said, or late 80s?
Mid 90s.
Mid 90s?
Yeah. Mid to late 90s. Late 90s. And she went gaga over the wine because it had this kind of nod to old world restraint and this finesse, like these kind of like some of those coveted Rhones that some of us have had the chance to try. And so that has always been percolating in the back of my mind. I've always been like, and so I now have a chance to plant this block literally across the street from me. The land is fallow. It's been fallow now for about 4 or 5 years. We pulled out an old orchard there. It was an old family. So the original 6 couples that moved to Naramata in 1955, the Borba family, 2 brothers and their wives, my aunt and uncle, and 2 other couples, Manduca and his wife and another Portuguese, were those first 6 couples. They were the nucleus of the Portuguese group that moved here in the early mid-1950s. This is one of their properties. So literally where I'm at, the winery site is in the middle between his other brother's property, which I swear to God I will buy one day, because it's onto Middle Bench Road. So the 2 brothers own these 2 properties on either side of our winery site. And he passed away, and a friend of mine, Jesse Graywell, his dad bought the property from Borba in 1994. So their families had this farm for quite a long time. And Jesse is a good friend of mine, but he's not in the farming business. He was farming it while he was doing dental school and while he was a dentist to help his mom, because his own dad had passed away. I would see him out here with a tractor. We'd run into each other all the time, every day. He'd be out there running bins while he was in med school, while he was working, helping his mom. It was crazy. Like, just the dedication to not letting the family farm slip from their family. But he approached me. He was actually at my wedding even. That's how close we are. Like, he was really kind of close to me, him and his brother. And he said, look, it would be great to do something here, and reflect the specialness of that property. And so now we actually have a lease, a long-term 20-year lease on this property. And on this property, on the hillside, there's an old abandoned creek that ran through this property. On the other side of the road here, there was a waterway that came up from the Campbell Mountain. And on the hillside, it's also rocky. Lots of rock, but more shale. Sort of like, it's the same piece of dirt. It's like literally about 100 yards from my home property. Like, it's kind of like right in the middle between the winery and where my wife and I live. And there's this band of the shale slab rock that and intermixed with this kind of creek alluvial gravelly sands in there. And so the idea has been percolating for about 3 or 4 years. I'm like, that site says Syrah. It's just been kind of like just constantly boiling in my mind. And that's definitely now a big thing. And we've actually identified the clone that I want to plant there. I'm not a big clone guy. That's why you never see it on my wines. I don't care. But there's a clone out of Washington State. Let me just see if I can find a name here for you.
So there's not going to be a cutting from the Golden Mile property because everything got pulled out. So the vines died. So it's going to be something different, but something more northern profile, because the Naramata Bench is much cooler than the Golden Miles, right?
Exactly. I'm going to just give me. I'm just looking through my notes here because it's called like.
Well, while you're putting that out, like I have to say to people who are listening right now, this is my wine of the year so far. I know it's early in the year, but this is that. I mean, 2021 was good. 2022 was a little bit more plush with a little bit more weight. This is has a structure, but such Syrah, extreme Syrah in my mouth is just, and the spice, the white pepper just linger. Oh fuck, I love that. Oh
So I have to ask something because the Vino Tinto was the first wine in the three wines you left me here, Carl.
yes,
And I almost forgot that I had Syrah coming up next because I started drinking that. I'm like, ooh, it's good. It's really good. And then I tasted the Syrahs, which are spectacular. And of course, this is the.
So it's called the JP clone, by the way. For
The
those
what?
who are nerdy out there who want to know. The Joseph Phelps, the
oh the
legendary.
GPO, the Joseph Phelps. So for people who know about the American, the California. The California viticulture, Joseph Phelps insignia, which is the one of the iconic wine from California, from Napa Valley. Joseph Phelps, one of the most famous producer. So it's Syrah clone.
Yeah, so it's sometimes registered as I believe it's a clone 16, but it's really where it cut its teeth in Washington, where these guys have been planting, is that in the Columbia Valley, where it was planted, it just showed to. And the Columbia Valley is an extension of BC, that cold continental temperature, and it survived. So most people think of cold Syrah, climate Syrahs, they'll think of clone 03, not to get down this kind of rabbit hole, but the JP, Joseph Phelps clone, there's a special variant of that in Washington State that's been known to be quite hardy and robust. And so
Okay.
I'm going to be planting both clones, the 03 and the JP clone, and stay tuned.
There you go. Hey, Richard, there's Jeff and Steve. Jeff and Stacey are coming to stay at your place, so wait for them to plan that, put them to work. I know that Jeff has volunteered his wife for at least a full weekend of work, so we can have access to Syrah. So,
Well, I'll have a shovel waiting.
but that's a very exciting plan.
Site. So I mean, So my question was, and sorry if you covered this while I was sipping on all these wines. This is 22 Vino Tinto.
Yeah.
This is the 22 Syrah. There's some similarities, and I freaking love both of them. So
there's
that Syrah.
A tiny bit of the Syrah in the Tinto.
There's some,
but I don't think it's enough to create what you're probably identifying, which I think is the vintage. The specificity of the vintage, that kind of, you truly, at the end of the day, there should be a common denominator across those wines if you're truly creating wines that are terroir and vintage,
yes,
reflective. And so, to me, what you're sensing is, I don't think I would attribute to the small portion of Syrah in it, but I think you're kind of the specific fingerprint of that vintage on those wines coming across, specifically within the house style. I think it's funny. I was just talking today at the bottling line today. I use a co-pack all of our wines at a beautiful facility across the road, around the corner here at Poplar Grove. They have a great modern bottling line there, and I can just go over there and bottle my wines. It's fantastic to be able to use some great equipment, and they're very, very helpful. And we're talking about today, and Eric, the youngest son, he did some winemaking down in New Zealand, and he's just so he's been around, he's traveled and worked and did his studies. He's like, now I'm starting to get used to your wine. Like there's a specific, like when I'm smelling it in the glass, there's a signature. So what you're getting is both the 22 specificity of that vintage kind of coming through in its fingerprint, and the market leads in the wine, but also you're identifying a little bit of the house style that kind of permeates through all the wines we make.
I mean, we don't have a lot of Decanter magazine type of article right on British Columbia, and that's why you see my head. I was just but Decanter magazine wrote a piece about the 2022 vintage in the Okanagan, specifically about that vintage, and he was saying that this vintage has potential for people who knows what they're doing, has potential to be one of the most beautiful vintage of all of the vintage in the last 20 years because of the balance. It can have so much balance in that, and that's what I mentioned to you early on. I feel that wine is so balanced.
I think the thing for me is they're two they're opposite sides of the same coin. The 19 and 22, there's balance, but very different.
Yeah,
To me,
true.
the 19 vintage to me, that was the incubator or the crucible that Nobreza was born in. To me, it's an elegant, a finesse. The 22 has a balance, but a very different weight.
With power. There's more. 19 has more elegance, I would say, but 22, I feel there's more power. There's more muscles.
Yes. No. Yeah. It's reflective of that heat and everything. And so the danger sometimes you have in those kind of vintages is to how do you rein it in? How do you create balance?
Mm-hmm.
It was there to people that had, again, just like in 19, again, reflective of, and the common theme through this is knowing where these best sites are to grow these specific varietals. And you get a very different wine. You get obviously a very balanced wine 19, and you get a balanced wine 22, but it's a very different experience.
Mm-hmm.
From a weight,
the tannic structure is also very different. 19 was more grippy. There's a little bit more softness.
Yeah, it's rounder.
That's meatiness. There's a meatiness.
Like it's got this kind of like more weight to it. Like it has it's just a different composition. And I think I love both those vintages for two very different reasons, though. I think the old world of me likes that kind of the 19 kind of more restrained thing.
This is more Washington State, though, is that 22, right? A little bit more of the darker fruits, the less herbaceousness, more on the on the plush side. But darn, that is good. Oh, geez, that blueberry just surfaced, the spice lingered. And Mira, this is my top wine I've tasted this year. That's not, and I love the Cap Sauv. The 19 Cap Sauv was fantastic. But geez,
you're gonna make me open a damn bottle now. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, we have it open here, so
it hurts my Portuguese heritage to do that. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. That's too good.
I'm like, I'm just.
Mark, that's good. There's
how long have you had it decanting for on your side? Like, how long have you had the bottle open for?
I opened the bottle, I would say around 3 o'clock. I poured it with the Enovino. And so like I felt like, yes, it's a little rounder profile because I know that I Enovino it, but that is good.
Showing a lot of promise already. So let's see.
It's live. We're live here with Richard Da Silva, opening up the 2022 Sunrise Vineyards from the Golden Miles. Just together here. Yeah, I know. I know. What I told Mira, I said, Mira, this is so Syrah. There's a typicity of varietal. I got the smokiness, I got the blueberry, there's a little hint of floral. That is like really, really Syrah.
Yeah, it's definitely blueberry. I got like a blueberry compote. I got a blueberry compote in it a little bit. It's very floral violet on the nose original, like initially. Like it's got this kind of violet, like a
Yeah.
kind of really, really. Is there such a thing as a ripe violet flower? I don't know. Really, really well mature violet.
Expressive, right? Like the juicy violet. Because I have the 21 right next to it, and the 21 has more herbaceousness. This is a little bit more of herbaceousness, espresso coffee, maybe a little bit more black olive.
That's fantastic, actually. I'm like,
Yeah, it is. It is. I told you this is. I told you this is. Holy shit, that's good.
and I do. It's getting interesting. I can. This vintage, I think, was leaning more towards the American oak as well, and I can actually. That's something that, because as a winemaker, I can sense a bit of that. There's definitely this kind of like in the underlying tone that's kind of cradling the wine. I can definitely get the barrel toast in that.
Mm-hmm. And there is, but the classic white pepper that I get specifically from the Golden Miles, and I learned that with Rustico, with Rust, when I tasted Golden Miles, Similkameen, and Black Sage Bench all side by side, and the Golden Mile had that really expressive white pepper, and I have that specific white pepper lingering on the back end as well. And the tannic structure is just so beautiful.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. Wow, eh?
It's kind of this, kind of weird to describe it that way, but it's like a blueberry pie in an oak barrel bowl. Like it's kind of like this kind of really kind of interesting kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's
I can hear people. Why the fuck would he put this blueberry pie in an oak barrel? But
because you got a bit of that pastry kind of.
Yeah, the flakiness, the flake of the pastry, right?
Right, that's fascinating. And it'd be interesting to see where this develops over the last few hours. It's yeah, now a little bit of pencil lead in there too, but that's crazy. Wow.
Maybe a bit of balsamic too. Oh, that is so good. Shit, that's good.
Let me see.
Yeah. Okay. I know that now people will they're gonna have bad flashback. Holy shit, they're back at it again. It's gonna last for 2 more hours. No way, Richard. It's 6:15. There's one thing though that I have to I gave you a call the other day and I said, hey, how about we do Carl's Wine Club member special deal for the Tinto? You said, Carl, I love that wine so much. Let's do it. So you're giving us $5 per bottle on the retail price for this. Were you just joking or?
I hope not.
Oh,
yeah.
This is awesome.
So at any point, Richard might cut this off, guys. So you've got to get your orders in.
At any point, Richard can pull the plug. Okay, guys. So
fascinated with that Syrah. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, I got to migrate from there, but.
So Twyla says, make sure to bring that bottle home. I want to try it.
There you go. There you go. I'm telling you, Twyla, it's the best one I tasted this year so far. So we have a leader in the clubhouse for Carl's Wine Club, the #1 wine of the year, 94 plus.
Right now, that wine. Well, I can't do it to you guys now, but I'm going to raise the price on that like $10. Because it's going to have to be. Because it's I don't have any more of it. And I can charge whatever the hell I want because it's I can. But I have drank a lot of Syrahs, unfortunately, in the last few months that are half that good. That have cost $20 more.
I know.
And I'm
Richard, if I'm your consultant, and we've done that for many wineries, BC and Ontario, say you need to help me with my pricing. And I would say this Syrah, Richard, can be sold for easily $70 a bottle.
Yeah, that's.
Easily $70 a
I
bottle,
wish I had
and
this
no
discussion
one.
with you a week ago because I would have been, I would have been like, hey.
But I mean, at the end of the week, I can happily say you should start that at the end of the week.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's. I
No,
don't.
this.
I like the problem with me is I'm living the future. I'm always concerned about the wine I'm making now. I can't do much about the wine that's in the bottle. And so I'm fixated, obsessed about what's currently about to get bottled. I live in the future. And to me, I rarely, and I should probably do more often, live in the past with some of these wines because this is an example of one that, like the Cab Sauv, I missed out on. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even know because to me it's like that's like eons ago. I didn't know this wine existed actually until my wife said, "Yeah, we actually have some Syrah." And I'm like, "Really? Like how much did we do?" I'm like, and
There's 214 cases. I can tell you.
Daddy's getting a new tractor.
And this one, and you know what's the good thing, Richard? You haven't released it yet. So there's only our members who have access to it. So Friday, we're going to hand that special price. Let's put it that way. And you should raise that ball. No, you should raise the price. 94 plus points. This is my top wine that I've tasted this year. It's absolutely off the chart.
It's very interesting that. Thank you, by the way. I really appreciate that. I'm still kind of living in my glass because it's like there's this kind of almost like this sprig of spruce note too. Sometimes like a little bit like that, kind of like that.
Yes, that's a little cedar, like like almost you know the gin, the liquor, the gin. How do you call that? Spruce. Yeah.
Yeah, like a bit of a spruce sprig in it. Like,
Yeah. Juniper.
Juniper. Yeah, that's more like it. It is juniper.
Yeah.
Like a juniper berry or.
Yeah.
That's very bizarre.
Huh.
I love that. That's crazy. So yeah, Twilight will bring it home. Right here. But yeah, I think that's probably the discovery. So you should probably do that more often. Just go through my cellar and open wines I haven't tasted in like 4 or 5 years because it's always.
That's what, Richard. That's when you pick up the phone, you call Carl and Mira, you say, "Guys, come and spend a few hours at my place." And when we leave, you'll have the right price point for
the fact.
Okay, one more question before I let you go. June 4th. I think that you guys are flying out on June the 3rd to arrive in Paris, June the 3rd or something like that. You and your wife, Twyla, are coming to Burgundy with us and 12 other couples, members of Carl's Wine Club, and Fabian Rice and Stephanie Rice, owner of Fair Rocks. Are you excited?
Absolutely. I am definitely very much looking forward. I have purposely not looked at the itinerary. Holy cow, I'm big there. Look at that. I can scroll back on that. I can't tell the difference between the tractor tire and me there. I like it. That's kind of funny. That's a good one. Well, you know what though? I on that note, by the way, I think I have to go back to WestJet and say, hey guys, I've just saved you guys an extra person on this plane ticket by me, being, exercising. I should get credit on my flight ticket for that. So I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to work that into it because that's definitely going to save them a whole bunch of weight on that plane. But that being said, I think I'm always fascinated by the old world. I'm always fascinated, more importantly though, by the similarities of our crafts.
Mm-hmm.
When you take away, and you probably see that if you got a guy like me there in the cellar, the dialogue changes from like the pitch. right? The slick kind of like, hey, we're super cool, to like the reality of farming, the reality of winemaking, and the similarities that exist. And it's I'm always fascinated. Twyla as well, when she comes with me. I'm like, okay, I like the gloss, but I really want to get into the nuts and bolts. Like, what is it like to farm here? Like, what's going on? What are the challenges? What are the things? And it's like the common struggle of being a farmer wherever you are in the world is so similar that it's and it gets rid of all pretense to me. Like, it just, I was in the Holy Grail. To me, like you guys know, I love wines from Loire. I'm in the Syrah, and we're talking about those wines in Pouilly Fumé, and it was amazing to see with a producer, an iconic producer. And when you dissect the discussion, it was amazing to see the similarities and what we're all doing in our own place, of course. And so, Burgundy is is the holy grail for those of us that love Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. It's a great place to go, and I'm very much looking forward to it. It's also a place that's for focusing on those 3 or 4 varieties. I think, how many varieties they have there? 5, is it? Pinot Meunier, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir.
Well, there's Melon Bourgogne that they're producing a little bit. They're producing a little bit of Sauvignon Blanc as well down south. But that's basically and the Gamay from the Beaujolais, which is right next to it. So so that's it, right? But
it's a fascinating region with a lot of history and a lot of like oh god, like overthought, kind of like just hundreds and hundreds of years of just so from that perspective alone, it'll be a fascinating journey for me, because it's just like, what are the parallels to what we're doing, and where's the net effect of having that history, like, at the end of the day.
Yeah. But for me, what I'm excited to see how are you going to change your perspective a little bit after coming back from there? Like, is it going to change a little bit about like, trying to do something a little different to get the little, I don't know, that would be interesting to see what you learn from these guys.
They always do. Inevitably, they always leave a mark in something you do. Every time I've gone to these regions, I've gleaned a couple of things, whether it's from the farming perspective, like that building there. I can't replicate that. Unfortunately, I'm not selling enough. To Daryl's point, I need to sell $200 bottles of wine and start getting up on, start buying nice chandeliers like that. But the deal is it's a magical place, because really it's I think the birthplace of really marketing and history got it right from the beginning. I think it speaks to a little bit of those two stories, and so it's also it's a very unique area. There's such a wide level of quality too, and so you can see that it's not that people will say, in BC or Canada there's such a high low mark, but Burgundy has that as well, and you'll see. You'll be paying for 3 figures for a wine that's marginal. Like, it's such an interesting place that you'll have wines that are a lot of wines that are not only ephemeral, but they're just absolutely mind bending, and yet the same place you can buy wines for like $100 for Chardonnay. That's like, I don't know.
Well, that was one of my comments. There's too many overpriced wine coming out of there. There's too many overpriced wine, and from where we are in our curve, when you compare pricing, we underprice our wine too many times compared, like, for the quality that we make at this stage now.
I mean, let's be fair. They've got at least a good 100 years on us.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Get the skin right for it. But I think what I love about Burgundy is that the quality difference between these different sites, like it's quite profound. Like
Yes.
you can really see a great site versus a mediocre site, and very quickly discern the difference in a very black and white way. That's very hard to do in BC. Or I'd say, like, even our friends in Niagara, like, the delineation of those sites and how special they are is such a it's such a masterclass in understanding that difference. Like, you can literally see a line in the sand and go like, wow, this is like a fantastic, and then go across the road and try the line there and go like, wow, this is not so fantastic. And you can see why right there. Here's the reason, the why. And I think that's where Burgundy has something to teach people like myself, and hopefully your guests that go on this trip, is the why.
Yep.
Really to fill those and take that back here and help us answer our own why, because I think that's really important.
Richard, something so cool, and I know I should stop it there, but I was on the phone today with the lady. She's the head teacher at La Cité des Climats in Burgundy. That's the school, like the school. Mira, help me define that, please. I need your help here.
It's like their like learning center. So the one in Bordeaux, the Cité de Climat in Bordeaux, is the largest wine education center in the world, and you can walk through that thing and like you learn so much about wine. So it's all experiential.
There's one
like
in
a science center, but for wine. So they have one in Bordeaux, in
Burgundy,
well.
And I talked to the lady who's the head educator. Her and I, me, Mira, and her tasted your wine, your Legado Chardonnay 2021 that I brought the bottle with when I was there. She was floored, and she was, oh my God, this is so, and she kept saying, it's so charnu. C'est charnu, ce vin, mais c'est très bon. And she couldn't believe it's come from Canada. Anyway, she's gonna come and spend some time with us. And she's going to welcome our guests and give a little introduction to the region and all of that. So it's really exciting to have someone, because
is the Cité de Climat. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And there's like that night they were short staffed, so that's why the head of the teaching staff was with us, and it worked out really well. And she was telling us how, like, every couple weeks she's good friends with the Team France tasting team. Just like in the Olympics, they have like tasting teams that represent France at
and
like
Italy and Spain, and they do like tasting competition, all sommeliers. And she asked me to leave your wine and Keith Dyer's Claus and Chase Pinot Noir, that she wanted to take it to the France team tasting, and she said no one will ever know from where it's coming from.
Well, they had some fun. They know your name out there already, Richard.
Oh God. I thought I was getting away and I could just be reckless. Apparently not. But no, I appreciate it. I'm obviously honored by that. I think it speaks to when you're dedicated to making wine of a place, and keep things to the basics. You can make great wines anywhere. I believe that. I don't think Burgundy, in a sense, holds some kind of. What they have been able to do is identify and clearly convey the why, and know what the why. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whereas for us here, we're getting to there. Like
we're still discovering. We're still discovering these part of the why.
Yeah, and I'm saying that here's the deal. I think even Burgundy, I think it'll be interesting for us as a group going there to see the profound effect of the climate change. I think that's a huge discussion over there, and it'll be really fascinating to get their perspective on the Vinho side of things. How is that affecting their things? Because I know I've had some interesting discussions with my friends in Italy that are going like, "Whoa, shit's different now." You know what I mean? It'll be great. I think it's I think they analyze the terroir at another level is very true. I mean, literally though, I think ultimately, to Daryl's point on that comment is, you know, they've been at it for such a long time. I mean, good Lord, I mean, they've had people farming these properties for months going back to prehistoric. Like we're talking like not prehistoric, but we're talking probably pre-Roman times, or at least Roman times anyway. There's a lot of time there to kind of really start dialing it in. And I think we've only been farming in the Okanagan for 40, 50 years. Like the oldest sites were growing some crap, like maybe at the turn of the century. But look at that time scale. You have a place that's been growing grapes for, what do they say, 1,500 years? Then you have a situation where we've been growing anything for less than 80 years, right?
Yeah.
So to me, what I love about that is I can learn from them without spending 1,500 years to get there. You know what I mean? And I think I love the passion. I also love the history. I think it's a romantic place. We can't fool ourselves. You're in a place, there's castles, there's old stuff everywhere, and you know, it's a magical place. And so for me, part of that allure is that. I would say it's a big part of it. You cannot help but walk down somewhere and go, wow, like Napoleon walked through here. Wow, the Roman legions walked through here. You know, like it's you can't separate the specialness of the place and its wines because they're intrinsically tied to each other.
Yeah, and then the fun thing is bringing all wine with us to have them side by side. That's where it's going to be super cool, and to have the French people also to discover a few of our Canadian wines. I'm really excited for that. I'm so thrilled to taste some of their crews. But anyway, Richard, thank you. That 22 Syrah is off the fucking chart. Thank you so much. Love it, and thanks for your time again. I'll let you go on that, and we'll chat later tonight or tomorrow.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you to all your awesome members, and we'll talk to you guys soon, man. Bon appetit. Cheers.
Merci beaucoup. There you go. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you, Richard. That was awesome. And Twyla, you're in for a treat. I hope he brings the bottle home. And you get to try it. Because look, you always know what I like based on what empties first. Okay. And look at this. Guess what the empty one is? It's the 22 Syrah.
Oh, no doubt.
Next is the Vinho Tinto.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is 22. Okay.
Yeah.
I seem to like that vintage. It was quite a vintage for the Okanagan. And it has some 22 Syrah in it. And then I haven't even tasted the 21 yet. I guess I should get on that.
Oh my God. What a great show. I'm floored. Like that Syrah is so good. So freaking good. 94 plus points. We're gonna post our tasting notes at the latest tomorrow morning for the Tinto 22 and the Syrah 22. But put it in the book. 94 plus points. Carl's Wine Club, and for the Tinto, I get it at 92 points as well. So yeah, there you go. Thank you. Another an hour and a half show. We were supposed to do it quickly. Oh, by the way, the Tinto, yeah, it was a serious thing. Richard gave $5 off a bottle just for this week. So, if you want to stock up on a awesome value wine, there you go. And the 22 Syrah is not available anywhere. We are the only people in the country to have access to that 22 Syrah, exclusive pre-release for Carl's Wine Club. How cool is that?
Very cool.
I can just see the Twyla putting her hair right there. She's like, what is going on here?
Before they pull the plug. Okay, so I didn't know. So I knew 22 vintage in the Okanagan was spectacular because they had a bumper crop. it helped a lot because the next 2 vintages were like almost non-existent with the deep freeze.
Oh, there was that, and 21 was super smoky with the heat dome, right?
Yeah, so 22 was like brilliant vintage,
Oh,
lots of extra grapes and no smoke and no heat dome. So it was like a beautiful vintage. And I didn't know that Decanter did like an article about that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wow, what a great! Oh, I'm so thrilled.
Girl Boucher, you naughty
Mira
boy.
Boucher. I mean, thank you everyone for joining us. Yeah, me too. Look, okay, I just pulled the Mira Boucher here. Okay.
Did you? Which one is your empty one? The Syrah, the 22 Syrah?
Let me show you my
22. Yes.
22. That's my empty glass. That's my we have to tell members, when I pour the wine before the show or anything, I always put the vintage and the initial of the grape varietal. If just make sure that Mira know exactly what she's tasting and I don't get mixed up. So yeah, that's what we're showing here.
It's very easy for me to get mixed up. But yeah, there is a 22 on there. So you can't see it, but it is there. Okay.
22 so right here. Yeah, 22 is the big highlight. Hey, guess what? Mira, look at that. What? Wait a minute. Woohoo! There's like another half a bottle.
Oh! That's good. That's good. We haven't even talked about the other rare releases, okay, guys? There's Chenin Blanc, there's Fumé Blanc, there's the Rosé, there's the freaking Chardonnay, the Legato Chardonnay, there's the Nobrezza, there's
I forgot.
Like, half of these you can't get on the winery's website, and they're not in liquor stores, okay? No. They're like rare releases from the winery. There's a couple 2019s left that are aging so well. So definitely one to check out. Member only pricing. It's a ridiculous price. I don't know how long it'll last. Like, honestly, they might call us in the morning and say,
no. And to be honest, Mira, Richard called me in the afternoon and he's like, man, I'm kicking myself right now. Like, there's no more Syrah and like, oh, the price. And I said, sorry, it's already been like we sent the email. I said, that's fine. And he asked me, he said, I can't wait for you to taste it and tell me if I have to raise the price for later on. And I'm like, no doubt. Like, now we just tasted it. Mira Boucher, as a consultant for the wine industry, what would be your recommendation for that 22 Syrah?
Oh, I'm no consultant. I just know I drank it fast and first. I mean, yeah. So would I be happy paying $70 a bottle for it? Yeah, like I wouldn't, I mean, obviously I want to pay 40. Right now it's 40 plus tax. Okay. But if it had to be 70, I would understand. I'd be like, okay, there's other $70 Syrahs out there.
Yep.
And this is probably better. So
this is freaking outstanding. Holy shit. What a wine. Yeah, this is the one of the year so far.
I presume are in Niagara on the lake. That's amazing. Have fun, you guys. Tracy, I was just thinking about you because I was like, Tracy would understand this. Something is telling me that there is one more couple that is meant to come to Burgundy with us. And we have one more room at the chateau, and we have one more room reserved at the hotel. And we can cancel that if we need to. But I feel like there's one more couple out there, or like a single or something like that. There's one more person or couple that's meant to come to Burgundy with us. So if you've been thinking about it and you're like, I wish I could go, I want to go, and you want to make it happen, or you're curious, let us know.
Give us a call. Give us a call.
Ooh, sake. This is a new adventure. Are you going to Japan?
She's training for a trip to Tokyo. Okay. Hey, we have a roast beef.
Good math there, Stacy and Jeff. We have 10 bottles. We're saving money. You know, wine math. I mean, I don't know how it would work if, for Jeff as an accountant, but for me as a writer, I'm like, yes, this is good wine math. I know, Cavell and Dylan, I agree, but I don't know. They just moved back to Calgary. I don't know if it's in the cards for this time. We'll have to see, but I'll send them that note. Yeah, I think Tracy's got a good instinct about these kinds of things. She's very intuitive. I like it. They've been to Japan, plan on going back. We need to go because there is a wine shop in Tokyo that has a better selection of the best Canadian wines than any wine shop in Canada. That's how ridiculous our interprovincial trade barriers are. But yeah, yep. Dylan, yeah. Anyways, it's been fabulous. Great to see you guys. That was a lot of fun. Holy smokes. I can't believe we're going to Burgundy with half of you guys. It's going to be
yeah, and Richard and Twyla. Holy smokes.
Richard and Twyla.
And Fabian and Stephanie. That's La Cité des Climats.
Yeah, I can't even, like, okay, look at all this wine and food porn, basically. I mean, yeah, I can't even.
Oh, yes,
I want to be
absolutely.
This here, you guys, was nothing special for France. Okay, this was just a little side room in the potential chateau that we're going to be staying in. That's it. And these windows go out to a nice big terrace overlooking vineyards. Nothing special. That's just how France is. Nothing special here either. Nothing to see. This is just someone's storage area.
Yeah. Yeah, with I don't know how many millions of dollars of inventory. I was just yeah. Anyway. That's Mira's favorite staircase. We all want what we want for our new house.
Anyway, there you go. It's very inspiring. If you can swing it, it's going to be a hell of a blast. And if you can't, that's okay. We're going to do more wine trips. Oh, we lost Carl. We're going to do more wine trips. In fact, we're going to poll you guys about where we should go next. Tuscany, Rhone.
Sorry, else, my phone died.
Mosel, I don't know.
My phone died.
No, there you go. All right. We said an hour. It's been 2. That's enough. Okay. I have no Syrah left in my glass. Let's go.
I got a phone call this afternoon and someone said, Tuscany, Carl. We need to go to Tuscany. Sign me up. We're up for that. So
I've heard we have a couple couples already ready to go for Tuscany.
Okay, guys.
The thing now is to pick timing. Like, I mean, we can't do this all in one year. So
I said to Mira, we have a big advantage. France, it's easier because I speak the language. None of us speak Italian. She said, watch me. I can learn Italian in a month. So we have it fixed.
Little known fact, I have this genetic ability to pick up languages very quickly if I want to.
There you go.
So I'm not joking. I speed read. I can pick up Italian in
New Zealand.
A month.
Holy smokes.
New Zealand. That would be something.
I love that option, Daryl. I really love that option. Yeah. So I told Mira that my dream is to do 4 of those trips every year. So as New Zealand, I love Hawke's Bay. Hawke's Bay is probably my favorite region of New Zealand. And oh man, I need some Chardonnay right now. I need some Chardonnay.
So Scotland, interesting. We know somebody who has some kind of castle in the family in Scotland. That's kind of cool. My sister stayed there. Anyway,
the rough part is to find wines in Scotland.
We'd have to bring all the wines.
That's it, right? So yeah, I'll let someone else organize Scotland if you guys don't mind. So South Africa, here you go. South Africa can be an option.
So look, Scotland is an add-on. I mean, it's an add-on the next time we go to Europe. Or maybe this time. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, we can do an extension. A Scotch extension. Mm-hmm. Okay.
There you go. South Africa. I like that, Jim. Have you guys been to South Africa? I've never been. But I imagine
we need to take the kids on a safari. So
we will have them fly in the day after the wine trip is over.
There you go. Done deal. No, so now we need to reach out to Dylan and Cavell. And
their ears are burning. They're like, something's happening.
Okay.
I think not yet. See, I love that phrase, Jim. It's a very enlightened phrase. Not yet.
I love it.
I love that.
I love it. I love it. What a show. Okay. That's awesome.
Well,
2022 Syrah. Holy shit.
From Da Silva.
If anyone wants to modify their order, if you already ordered, just
I think some people have.
Yeah, so just do it. We'll figure it out because we're gonna pack and ship everything from here anyway. So yeah. Woohoo! What a show. I love it.
Cheers, you guys. It was great to see y'all. Have a great night.
Thank you. Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members. See you next time.